Welcome to the Smart Property Investment Show with your host, Phil Tarrant.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Smart Property Investment Show. A bit of a theme recently on, it feels as though the last couple of podcasts I've done where some younger people have come to the studio and what's come up is this idea around affordability and how young Australians in today's environment can't afford to get into the property market. Something we're trying to, a theory that we're trying to dispel, and I believe, and as a lot of our guests have said, that that's a bit of an excuse, I think, for people who are not willing to prioritise investing in property over having all the great things in life, like a fancy car and overseas holidays and living within the coolest place of the city. So we're going to continue that theme today, I believe, because I have someone in the studio who is on the younger side, Wayne Hedley, who has just started investing in property. Well, purchased their first investment property in October of last year. Wayne, how you going?
Yeah, good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
So you fall into this younger bracket. How old are you?
27.
Okay. So is it impossible? So you're a millennial?
Yeah, I guess so.
Is it impossible for millennials to get into the property market these days?
Yeah, well, I guess I did. So it's happened. But I guess the main perception is it's pretty tough and you can't do it. I guess it just takes a bit of sacrifice and a bit of savings and you can definitely do it, especially if you look outside of Sydney, I guess.
Your peer group, do they all sit around and complain about how hard it is to buy property, or they're not even thinking about it? They're worrying about sort of drinking fancy lattes at cool joints and going overseas to Europe for 2-4 week breaks?
Yeah, I guess probably don't really chat too much about property. Yeah, I guess gave up European holiday to get into it. But no, there's a couple of us who do, but I guess the majority it's just not even spoken about.
Yeah, interesting. So why have you chosen to get into property instead of doing all the stuff that you do in your 20s?
I guess I finished uni, went out a fair bit for a couple of years, had a good time, then kind of thought, I better knuckle down and put a plan into action. And then I guess everyone goes, you need to buy a house. So I just started saving for that deposit. And then I guess just started educating myself to make sure I made a good decision. So I didn't know anything about it to start with. And then one of my mates put me on to your podcast and the Property Couch and just listened to them over about, 9 months.
Gee, you must have been bored senseless.
Oh, yeah, I guess it's a lot, but
yeah,
helps you make a good decision. So
it's good. So a couple of things we'll chat about in the podcast today. We'll chat about the property that you've bought, a bit around your mindset and what you plan to do through investing in property. I imagine you've got a mortgage in there for you've got a job. What do you do for a living?
Chiropractor.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is that your own practice or you work for someone else?
I work with someone else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chiropractors earn reasonable money, right? You don't need to tell me how much you earn, but you guys get paid quite well.
Yeah, I guess.
Comparatively.
Yeah, I mean, this is my 4th year out, so I guess it's just kind of kept on building up. So hopefully it just keeps going in that direction.
So you got to create your own client base, really, don't you? So it's like a little business within a business, right?
That's it. I guess my boss has been around for about 30 years, so there's a big patient pool, which helps. So
where are you based out of, chiropractor?
Kellyville.
Okay. All right, I know Kellyville. Yeah. Are you investing out that way? Kellyville's gone crazy now.
Yeah,
so
it
the
has.
Train line's about to go.
Yeah, Rouse Hill there.
Yeah.
Yeah, massive changes. It used to be all paddock behind the clinic. Now it's just full houses the whole way down.
Wow. Do you live out that way?
Yeah, Castle Hill.
Okay. Chiropractor, been doing it for 4 years, so I imagine your income is just increasing, or it should be, I hope.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I get it was pretty modest, lowish to start with, I guess, and it's just slowly creeping up each year, which is good. That's
pretty cool.
I'm still at home, so I mean that's a big advantage to save for a deposit.
Do you get charged rent?
I do now.
Oh, you do. So what they said, if you're so they were happy. So your parents were happy for you to live rent free while you're saving for a deposit, and then they went, you can start paying.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you still get your washing and stuff done? And
Mum's gone on strike.
That's cool. So you're still going to stay? You're going to stay living at your parents' joint?
Yeah, it's so close to work, I guess it makes sense to stay there. If I move out, it's just going to be somewhere 10-15 minutes away. So, but probably in the next year, and also I'll probably be pretty keen to get moving.
Okay. And are you looking to buy another property? So you've got one property.
Yep.
You're going to start thinking about buying another property at some point soon?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I guess I'll wait about a year and get another revaluation, and I guess I'm saving a fair bit still, so hopefully I can merge the two and jump into the next one in the next year or 18 months.
Okay.
Depending on how the valuation goes.
Okay, cool. So let's have a chat about the property you bought. Where is it? What is it? How much you pay?
It's a townhouse up Gold Coast in Mermaid Waters.
Mermaid Waters, yeah.
So what did I pay for it? $415, and it rents out for $430 a week.
$430 per week, cool. And did you do a 20% deposit, so 80% LVR?
10% deposit.
Yep.
And ANZ for Kairos actually do no LMI.
That's pretty cool.
So that saved me about $6,000, I think.
Yeah, so that's an important point. If you're tuning in, depending on what profession you're in, often lenders will have some sort of special product for a particular profession. So people in the medical fraternity, doctors, chiros, dentists, all that sort of stuff often get preferential products from lenders. So if you sit in that boat, make sure you go and check it out, or ask your broker to see if there's anything relevant to you. So you were able to get a 9% lend without LVR, without lender's
LMI.
mortgage.
Yeah.
LMI. So LMI, lender's mortgage insurance. So that's the insurance that you pay to protect the lender should you default on any borrowings above 80%. So that's a good savings.
Yeah, definitely.
So what was your total buyers? Did you use a buyer's agent to do this?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I used Empower Wealth.
Okay, so the guys, Ben and Bryce, Property Couch, Empower Wealth. I know you're tuning, guys. So how you going? So how much cash did you need in order to 10% deposit, stamp duty, legals, buyer's agency fee? What did you need to stump up?
So it was about 85, and that included about $8,000 worth of renovations.
Okay, so had to do some renos as well.
Yeah, just cosmetic stuff. So I just needed paint, new carpet, and new blinds, and a couple of minor.
Okay, we'll chat about that in a sec. So 85K you had to save. How long did it take you to save 85K? It's a big chunk of money.
Yeah, probably about 2 years. I guess
Okay.
you just break it down. If
Yeah.
you go, okay, I can save 500 a week for 100 weeks, it kind of starts to add up. So
Okay. So 500 a week for 100 weeks, 2 years.
yeah, it probably works out a bit less. But I guess as I was doing that, I got more motivated. So start saving a bit more and that kind of thing. So it just kind of snowballs on itself.
Was that always at the back of your mind, thinking about save? Here's a reason why I'm saying, you must have had an eye on the prize if it's taking you a couple of years to save up that sort of deposit. How did you keep yourself motivated?
Yeah, I mean, I set a target. I thought I'd probably needed about 80 or 90,000 and just worked backwards and worked out how much I need to save per week. And I guess I just saw what happened in Sydney, and out our way had all doubled in like 4 years. So
Yeah.
I thought, I've got to do something to try and jump on the bandwagon.
And did anyone help you with that goal setting, or you sort of just sorted that yourself?
No, I just sorted out myself. So I guess that was the plan. I guess mum and dad were like, buy property, and then just kind of worked it out that way backwards.
Are you happy with the property you've purchased?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I guess I was a bit iffy about Gold Coast because I guess reputation for a bit boom and bust. But I guess Empower kind of said why we're going to invest there and went with that.
What was the rationale for investing in Mermaid Waters?
So there were a couple of areas on the Gold Coast they were looking at. And I guess just long term, it's got the population growth. It's about 500 metres from Pacific Fair, the shopping centre. So it's a good spot for transport, shops, and a bit of scarcity of land as well. I guess you have the coast on one side and the hinterland on the other. And I guess we'll join up with Brisbane eventually. In 30 years, it would just be a big city.
Yeah. Having worked up 2 years or so to save a deposit, when it actually come to a point of signing a contract, was that a big moment for you, or it was just part of the process and you didn't overthink it too much?
I guess there's a fair bit of emotion behind doing it to start with, and you're kind of second guessing yourself, but I just went, no, I'm going to do it, and just got along with it.
Yeah. Did you celebrate the signing of the contract? Did you open a bottle of bubbly or something or other and have a toast, or just sat there and think, what have I done?
No, I think I was at work when I got the call, when it settled, and I just had to get back to work.
Yeah. Have you seen it? Seen the place? Did you go
Yeah,
look at it?
so while they were doing some painting and the carpet, we flew up there because I got some mates in Broadbeach, so we just stayed with them and had to gurney the outside and had a look kind of thing. So I'll probably go up again in October on weekend, see my mates and just have a look again.
So is it a 3-bedder?
2-bedroom.
2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom?
Yeah, 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom.
How big is the sort of complex it's in?
Block of 12.
Okay, so it's not too big.
Yeah, decent strata, I guess, yeah.
And is it sort of a new build, or is it like 1980s type thing?
Yeah, I think it's like 1980s, 1978 or something.
In terms of the renovation on it, you said you spent sort of $8,000 or so. Why did you do the renovation? Who sort of gave you the basis of doing the reno, and what did you get? What was the upside benefit from it?
Well, it kind of needed it. So I think the tenant that was in there for about 15 years was family friends with the owner.
Okay.
So she hadn't looked after it too well. So just the carpet needed updating. The paint was pretty terrible. I think it needed a new dishwasher and bathroom vanity. So I was just kind of, I guess, make it look better for a tenant when we try and rent it out.
And you could have rented it out without doing that. Did you do the scenario saying, if I leave it as is, I might get X, and by doing the work that you've done on it, you've got $430 a week?
To be honest, I just went with the buyer's agent's advice. I guess it looked pretty tacky, so I didn't mind spending that. And hopefully when I get a revalue, it pushes it up a bit more.
Yeah. Any idea what it might value up now? What's that sort of 6, 7, 9 months later?
So I've been having a look at some other sales in the streets close by, which are just units and a fair bit smaller than mine. So they're selling for $425, $430. So
Okay.
I think it might be pushing $440-ish, hopefully.
Okay. So you think you've bought well?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's got in the right direction so far, and I guess I just look at it long term.
Yeah, that's cool. So what's next then? So are you going to wait until this grows so you can draw down some equity, or you're saving at the same time?
Yeah, a bit of both. I guess I'm saving up at the same time. I'll wait for end of financial year, and I guess I spoke to Munzerl actually after.
Munzerl?
Yeah.
Munzerl the accountant?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I think he's in Parramatta. He's pretty
Yeah.
close. So
Yeah.
I've gone down and had a chat with him. So I guess I'll get a bit of his advice as well. And then I can decide what I'm going to do for number 2.
So that's, if you don't know, Munzerl Khan is from Keshab Accountants, big fan of the Smart Pro Investment Show. He's also my accountant, so I always find it funny when I hear people. He seems to be everyone's accountant, Munzerl, for some reason.
No,
It's
good
so funny.
referrals from you, I reckon.
I don't know what. Yeah, you got to look after my stuff, Munzerl, not everyone else's. But I imagine he'll just go, keep going if you can. So that's the way it is. But I'll let you guys talk about that sort of thing. So buying up in Queensland versus in your own backyard, you can buy a 5-bedroom house in Kellyville for probably about $1.2 million.
Yeah.
Have you bought interstate purely because of the price point difference, and this is impossible for you to get into a Sydney market?
Yeah, I mean, borrowing capacity, I guess, kind of limits you. So, I mean, Sydney was unaffordable. And I guess short to medium term growth, Sydney's had a pretty good run. So I guess you go look in other areas to try and get that uplift in equity to keep going rather than flat. I think Sydney's started to flatline a little bit.
And you had no reservations about investing interstate?
No, not really. I mean, I guess we've gone up to Broadbeach a fair few times, so I kind of know the area, and I guess it's an hour plane right away.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Management of the property, have you got a property management company, or are you trying to do it yourself from down here?
No way.
Yeah.
We've got property manager up there, so that they just take care of it.
And how do you find working with them? Are they pretty easy? Do you sort of ride them pretty hard, or are they pretty proactive?
I think they're pretty proactive. They pick up some minor things that I just get fixed up straight away. I think the tenant couldn't work the air conditioning remote, so she got the electrician out, so I had to pay for that, but that's all right.
What, to teach them how to work their... Yeah.
To put the batteries in the remote, I think.
Yeah, that's just mad.
I mean, apart from that, it's been pretty smooth sailing.
So is there anything you do differently, looking back now, of buying this first investment property?
Probably not. I think it's all gone... I mean, before you actually do it, you think, what's gonna go wrong? What type of tenant am I going to get? Is it going to go up in value? That kind of thing. But it's all been pretty smooth sailing so far.
Yeah.
Touch wood.
So it's been a good experience, not a bad experience. So a lot of people's first investment is a horrible experience and they never do it again.
Yeah, I think I made a good decision. I mean, I did a fair bit of research and just tried to understand everything. So from what type of loan to get, I went to different seminars, so Right Property Group's ones, probably a couple of Spruker ones as well, just so you can see the difference in kind of how they push you into either direction. And then I think you can start to pick the bad advice from the good advice.
I think there's a lot of bad advice out there. The Right Property Group, very good advice. Empower Wealth, who you've used your buyer's agent, they're very, very good operators as well. Did you think you have over-educated yourself? A lot of people get into the trap of sort of, I'm gonna, and they never do it. 2 years savings a long time, and you've used that period of time to to really immerse yourself in property investment and get yourself, knowledgeable about it all, and a lot of podcasts you've listened to. Was there ever at any point you got, I've got too much information, it's going to stop me from making a decision?
No, I mean, I guess you can get all the information and then it runs through your head and go, should I do this or different scenarios? But I guess if you keep it simple and go, you've got time on your side, you buy an investment where you say to yourself, in 10 years, is it going to be worth more or less? And you go, it's going to be worth more. It's probably a good buying decision, and just let it cycle itself.
And do you have any idea on, have you sat with your buyer's agent and worked out a strategy saying, when I'm 60 and I'm sick of being a chiropractor, and I can choose to retire, that this is how much money I want to retire on? Have you gone through that process?
Yeah, definitely. So I guess we just chose 100K, which I guess is almost conservative-ish for 25, 30 years of investing, and just worked backwards from that. So like 2.5 million at 4% will give me that.
So you need $2.5 million in unencumbered property.
Debt.
So that's property with no debt on it, delivering you 4% yield.
Yeah.
It gives you $100,000 a year as cash. So replacing your salary. Right. Yeah. $100,000 in 30 years' time is probably not going to be $100,000 in today's money. But
no.
So do you think, you've already got, there's one property there you bought for $415. You'd like to think that if you hold that for 2 market cycles, that should go up 4 times value. Like to think that should go, they say property doubles in value every 8 to 12 years. It's very loose mantra, but that means you go from 400 to 800 and 800 to $1.6 million. You sit there and think that potentially in 25 years time that property can be worth $1.6 million. It's crazy though, isn't it? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Really? How is that possible?
Exactly. I guess most people don't think of it. If you work backwards when properties are only worth 10,000, 20,000 and work it forwards, you can go, oh, I did it. But I guess most people go, oh, it's worth $1 million. How can it be worth 3 million?
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, literally.
So advice then for younger investors who are looking to get into the market, what do you do?
I think just understanding the working parts of it. So how your loan works, how an offset works, what type of assets perform better than others, making sure you've got enough cash flow to sustain it if it's negative to start with, and then I guess just prepare yourself for any future events. So I guess I have to move out of home, so you've got to take that into account and that kind of thing.
Will you choose to move out of home? Do you think you get punted? I was reading a thing in the paper the other day about some parents in somewhere in the States suing their son because he won't move out.
Yeah, I
think they've got
that.
a court injunction on them. Are you going to get punted, or you think you move on your own accord?
I've got the granny flat out the back.
Okay.
I think my brother's pretty keen to get me out of there, so he might be pushing me.
So you got your own granny flat out the back. Do you cook your own food and stuff in there, or?
No, it's kind of like a 80s pool cabana thing, so
Okay.
it's still got to go upstairs.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you got your own little place, so yeah,
which is
stay
good.
there as long as you can. So how much are you saving now a week? You still doing $500 a week, or you've increased it?
Oh, it's probably a bit more. I think the negative cash flow from the property is about $100 a week because I'm principal and interest.
Okay.
So I'm probably.
So it's costing you $5,000 a year in cash flow.
Yeah.
So before tax to hold this property.
Yeah. So I think the rent's $430 and the repayments are $425. So it's pretty much just the holding costs that I'm paying out of pocket.
Okay.
So strata, council rates, maintenance.
Are you okay with that? Like, did you know it was going to be that negative when you went into it?
Yeah, I did. I made a few spreadsheets and kind of overestimated the costs and underestimated the rents. So it's worked out better than what I thought.
So do you have any idea what the post-tax position will be, where you'll come in sort of neutral?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I guess
I'll wait and see.
Yeah, I'll wait and see. I mean, I kind of, once I got it and knew that I could save this much a week and it was only going to cost me that, I kind of just put the numbers aside and I'll let the Munzeril do it at the end of financial year.
So do you think $5,000 a year to hold a property is worth it? Like, if it's going up in value, you buy.
Yeah, well, that's it. I guess you do a break even between the capital gains and the how much it's cost you to hold. And I think I'm ahead so far.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Enjoying it, Wayne? Is it been as good as you thought it would be investing in property?
Yeah, I guess you think it's a big event kind of thing. And then, I mean, you go a couple of months and the rent comes in and it just kind of runs in the background so far.
Yeah. Do you worry about it at all? don't think about it too much?
No, don't think about it too much, which is pretty good so far.
You're still on this education path, though? You're still trying to learn? And what do you want to learn about property that you don't already know?
I mean, I guess you go through an acquisition phase and then just that consolidation phase. So, I mean, just as you said, if I hold this property for 2-3 cycles, it almost gets you to that 2.5 mil. So, you know, do you go, okay, do I buy 2 or 3 properties and just sit on them? Or do you buy 4 or 5 and then do a sell down or that kind of thing? So I just probably try and understand that a little bit more.
Yeah, I guess you're fortunate that you have time on your side. A lot of people start investing sort of 10, 15 years after where you started. So, you know, time is a very valuable commodity in property investment, because time is what is the positive effect on your properties, property portfolio, and that hopefully the longer you hold your property, the more they'll go up in value, and therefore the more you realise the capital gains from which you can choose to sort out in some way in the future around retirement, whether you sell everything and get a big chunk of cash, or you have a nice annuity income that delivers you over time, and it's an asset you can pass on. But cool. Well, let us know how you get on, Wayne, and your next purchase and how you go through that, and we'll get you back on the show and we can have a chat about it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Remember to check out smartpropertyinvestment.com.au. Everything you need to know about investing in property in Australia, what to do and what not to do, importantly. If you're not yet subscribing to our morning market intelligence newsletter, so you're the first to know what's going on, smartpropertyinvestment.com.au/subscribe, or just click the subscribe button on the website. You'll track it down. If you prefer social media, just search Smart Property HQ and you can like us and follow us and get all your info that way. Please, those reviews on iTunes, please keep them coming. We do appreciate them. The team here like to know that what they're doing is resonating and it's helping you guys out. So we'll be back again next time. Until then, bye-bye.
The information featured in this podcast is general in nature and does not take into consideration your financial situation or individual needs and should not be relied upon. Before making any investment, insurance, tax, property or financial planning decision, you should consult a licensed professional who can advise whether your decision is appropriate for you. Guests appearing on this podcast may have a commercial relationship with the companies mentioned.